Michelle with Pink and Maine. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be making some fun cards with our Pig Time stamp and coordinating dies. For our first card, we're going to make a shaker card. I have all our pieces cut out and ready to go. We're going to be making a top folding A2 size card. So this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I cut out some colorful layering pieces to go on our card front with our layered rectangle dies. I'm going to glue these together and adhere them to our card front. To make a shaker card, you need a couple of components, and the main one you're going to need is a frame, and you can put it on top of anything on your card, of course. I cut a circle that's the same size as my frame because I just wanted a different color than the plaid to be behind the shaker frame. I've cut this frame out of beautiful silver glitter paper that's from our Metallics glitter paper pack. And I've cut it using our reverse scalloped circle dies. So it's got this fun little scalloped edge on the inside of the circle. I have then glued down a clear piece of acetate to the back of my frame. So you need that clear acetate, or you can use your packaging from your stamps or dies. Just cut that out. It's a little thinner if you use the packaging, but that's fine. And you just glue that to the back of your frame. And then you're going to need some foam or something to raise the frame up off of the card to give room underneath for all your little bits and pieces to shake around. So I've got some thin foam tape that I've adhered all the way around my frame. And you want to make sure you don't have any holes in the foam tape so that the pieces won't shake right out of there. I'm going to adhere my circle down to my card. And I want to do something a little different. I want to put my sentiment on the inside of my shaker frame. So I left a little space of white over here so that the frame can go over that. I'm just kind of sizing like where I can put it, and that'll work perfectly right there. And the sentiment is from the stamp set. It's "I'm so happy for you." So we have our circle where our shaker pieces are going to move around within the frame. And you don't have to do this, but I like to add a couple dots of glue within that circle so that some of the pieces will stay in place no matter how you hold the card. So a lot of pieces will shake around, and then a few will stay in place so that if you're holding it and looking at it, you still see some of the shaker bits in the frame. For this shaker card, I'm just using some really chunky glitter that I picked up at the craft store. I like this chunky glitter because it's just iridescent and it's not colored a specific color, so I can use it for a lot of different colored cards, and it always seems to match and go well. I have a pretty good pile of it on top of that circle, and I want to keep it all within where the frame is going to be. And let's adhere our frame down. So now we have our shaker card, and I love all that iridescent chunky glitter inside of there. I made sure I pressed down the frame completely all the way around so nothing flies out when you shake the card. I love it. And you still have some glitter that will stay all over the card because of the spots of glue that I put there. Now we're ready for our final piece, which is the adorable little pig, and he's holding up a balloon and looking up to the sky, and he's just so cheerful and cute. I'm gonna glue him to the front of the frame. And there's our final card, a shaker card. It's so much fun. For our next card, we're making another A2 size top folding card. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I've got some layering pieces that I cut out for the front of the card. First, I'm going to adhere this peachy colored cardstock down to my card front, and I have a strip of white cardstock with a pattern paper with this nice plaid to go on top of it, where it shows just a little bit of white on each side. And the pattern papers I'm using for the cards today are from our Pastel Dreams paper pad. Now I need a place for my little pig to sit on the card. So I have used the negative piece from the frame we cut out for our shaker card. This is that center piece. When you cut out the reverse scallop frame, you get this center piece that has these little edges on them. And I cut out a stitch circle that kind of sits right in the center. And I thought that'd be a nice place for our pig to hang out. And here is our card so far. I love that sparkly glitter paper. I'm gonna add our adorable pig next. And he's got this little heart on a string. I added some foam tape to the back of him so he kind of pops off the card a little bit. This time I have 2 sentiments that we're gonna add to the front of the card. One says squeal, and the other one says thanks so much. Oh, I'm loving this card so far. I think we just need a little embellishment to finish it off. We have glitter enamel dots in all kinds of colors on our website, and I think I'm just gonna add a few to this card just to give it a little more sparkle and shine, just a little finishing touch. And there's our finished card. So cute. I've got the pieces cut out for our next card, so let's layer our layering pieces down to the card base. This time I'm using an A2 size card, so it's still 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but it opens to the side. With our layered rectangle dies, you can get layering pieces to go together nicely with like a nice 1/8 of an inch border around them. So those are nice basics to have on hand. Next, I've just cut out a strip of peach paper and a strip of green stripes from our Pastel Dreams paper pack. And I'm just gonna put that across the front. Again, I need a spot for our adorable little pigs to sit on the card, so I've cut a stitch circle that I'm just going to place in the center of that strip of pattern paper. To add a little accent and embellishment to the card, I've cut out a couple of little pennant flag type pieces that we're going to put up here in the right-hand corner. I've stamped the sentiment, missing you pig time, and I've cut it out with just that little flag end, and I'm gonna place it down here in the bottom corner of the card. I'm adding the adorable pigs that are hugging each other. We're gonna place them in the center of the card. Added foam adhesive to the back so they kind of pop off and give some dimension. Again, I think I'm going to finish this card off with some of the glitter enamel dots. And there's our next card. I think it's cute. So this is what I call more of like a card sketch kind of card. You've seen card sketches where you've got different pieces of pattern papers or different colored cardstocks, and they all work together and they come together to make a completed look. A nice finished card. For our next card, I'm making it kind of monochromatic or a tone on tone. We're just using this nice peach color from the paper pad. And it just kind of matches the pig, and we're just going to use that peach color in white. I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 A2 size card. It opens like this, but instead of using it sideways, we're still going to have it open top to bottom. And I'm going to glue my first layering piece down on the card. I have some strips of paper, the stripe and white. I'm going to glue them together. Before I glue the strips down to the card, I want to decide, I've cut out a stitch circle from our stitch circle dies. I cut a little bit of it off because I want to layer it underneath the strips of paper and give just enough so I have room for my pig to hang out. So I'll glue the circle down first. And here's our card base so far. I love the look of this monochromatic color scheme going on with the dots and the stripes. I'm going to add our little pig, and he's just kind of hanging out with his big belly sticking out. So now I'm going to add our little piglet, and I've put foam adhesive on the back of him again so he can kind of pop up on the card and give it some dimension. He's just hanging out right on top of that strip of paper. And I've cut out the sentiment after I stamped it, and just a little rectangle. It says exercise. I thought you said extra fries. I'm gonna add some more glitter enamel dots. And there's our finished card. Again, I love the monochromatic look with that little piglet. Our next card is going to be an A2 top folding card. We're going to be doing a little bit of ink blending on this one. I've cut out some layering pieces. I've cut out a scallop rectangle with our scallop rectangle dies. And then with a stitched rectangle set 2, I've cut out a piece that fits right within that scallop. Look, it's this beautiful white glitter paper, and this is in our metallics glitter paper pack as well. I'm going to glue our scallop rectangle down first. There's our card base so far, which is that scallop rectangle in that pretty minty teal color. I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to do some stenciling on our glitter paper. The cool thing about this white glitter paper and some of the other glitter papers we have that are lighter in color is that you can ink blend right on top of them and transfer the ink color onto the glitter paper, and you'll still have that beautiful sparkle and shine, but it'll take on the color of the dye ink that you use. We're going to use one of our Masket stencils. So this is the Masket heart. And we're just going to place this heart where we want on the paper. It does have the etched edge of an A2 size card. So if you wanted to lay it on there and center it, it makes it a little bit easier. And you may want to tape the paper to the back of the stencil. I'm just going to wing it, be a rebel here, and ink blend while I hold it. I'm using a nice bright pink ink and our mini ergonomic blender brush. So you just rub or tap the brush onto the ink pad, and then in a circular motion, you just add the ink to the paper. And here's the fun part, the reveal. So we move it away, and we have a pink heart on our glitter paper, and now it's super sparkly pink where that ink has been blended on there. I'm done with my blending brush for this project. You can just wipe it off on our Scrub It Clean microfiber cloth, remove all the color and go on to another color and use it again. I'm gonna do a little extra cleaning. I'm gonna use our Squeaky Clean brush cleaner. I'm gonna spray a couple spritz onto our brush, and I'm just gonna rub off the excess ink on the microfiber cloth. You can also use our brush scrubber for this. Both ways, clean the brush very nicely, remove the excess ink, and get you ready to use it again with any color that you like. Now let's glue our ink blended glitter paper onto our card. I've stamped and cut out the sentiment, "You make me happier than a pig in mud," and I'm just going to apply this down towards the bottom side of the card. Last but not least, we're going to glue down our adorable little pig holding a balloon. We want to put him at the bottom of the heart there, and the heart just kind of gives him a spot to anchor him to the card. If I just glued him on the plain glitter paper, he would just kind of be floating there in the middle, but with that heart there, he's more grounded and anchored to the card. When gluing things down to a glitter paper that has some texture to it, you want to use a nice strong adhesive, whether it's a strong double-sided tape or a liquid glue. You want to use something that can grab on to that texture. Some of the tape runners out there just aren't going to hold very well for very long to that textured glitter paper. So I've used our Easy Squeeze craft glue, which will give you a nice strong hold. Now here's our card. It's super sparkly and shiny. And our happy little pig has an adorable heart to stand in. Thanks again for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed these cards using the Pink and Main Pig Time stamp and coordinating die set. I hope this inspires you to grab your little piggies and start creating. Until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life.